Hello, everyone. This is Casey from UDAF. We'll just give everyone a little bit of time to jump on and then we'll get going. Okay, I think that's enough time for people to jump on, so we'll get rolling. So my name is Casey King, and I'm with Utah Department of Agriculture. My job is I'm the lead inspector for the industrial hemp side of things. We also have a big group of our UDAF staff on here, and so we'll get going. Today is April 2nd. It's our first official only retailer uh, licensee meeting. So today, what I wanted to cover is just a bunch of different things that we're going to see on the retail side of things. And if you do have questions, then feel free to add those in the chat. We will probably not get to those chats today, but we will take those and get into them next meeting that we have. So feel free to, if you have any questions, to add them on there. So today, just kind of an overview of what's gonna happen. We're still planning on having these licensing meetings the first Tuesday of every month. Retailers, the months for a retailer would be April, June, August, October, and December. And for our processors, they will be May, July, September, and November. And we just had one with processors back in March. And the purpose of these meetings is opening a space for licensees and regulators to openly discuss industry matters, ongoing processes, potential changes, and legislative updates. If you do have any questions before the meetings, try to get that to us about a week before the meeting starts, and send that to our email. Our email is hemp_udaf@utah.gov, and we can put that in the chat so everyone has access to that. But that allows our staff to put in the proper time to investigate and research your questions so we can come to you guys with the right answers and whatnot. To start this meeting off, we'll begin with Cody James. He's our Deputy Director for both the Industrial Hemp and Medical Cannabis Program. And what he's going to give us is some legislative updates and a little discussion on professionalism. So go ahead, Cody.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah, first and foremost, everybody, appreciate you, the number of you that have joined today. Notice that there's only about 35 total people participating. So if you have other people that you know that's within the industry as retailers, kind of get the word out. It'll help them out. It'll help you out, hopefully, and helps the regulators out here at the Department of Agriculture as well to make sure that we're all on the same page and have understandings of what's going on, all the way from the legislative session all the way through the rules and any policies that come up, and hopefully be able to move this industry forward in a way that is beneficial to the consumers of the state and to you as business owners, as well as keeping both of those groups safe as well, which would be our job. First and foremost, as Casey mentioned a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about professionalism. There's been a couple of things that have been brought to our attention over the past little bit. First, there was I guess what I'll call them is rumors, as that the department has sided with certain companies or certain products or things like that. And just without going into any names or anything like that, that is completely false and untrue. The department does its very best to make sure that we don't have anybody that may have a conflict working on any situation where that conflict could come up. As a matter of fact, I am actually unaware of any conflicts that the department or any of our employees have with anybody within the industry. If you hear about that, you're more than welcome to reach out to us and tell us about what's going on. But let me just reassure you that none of that stuff is actually going on. We're going to treat everybody the same and as fair as we possibly can. Secondly is professionalism, and I don't think it's necessarily come from anybody within the retailer side of things, although I'm sure that there's some times that it happens when our inspectors are out at your stores, because it is maybe a hot topic, some products being put on hold, situations like that. But we are going to do our very best, and we, Dr. Forsyth, our director, and myself, push this quite a lot as to being a professional, treating people with respect. I just want to put it out there to the industry that we expect the same thing. We've had some situations recently where some of our administrative staff have been, really, for lack of a better word, bullied. And it's just not going to be something that is acceptable for us. As I mentioned, we're going to do as best we can to be professional. Our hope is that the industry as well would do the same thing that way. Obviously, we understand the relationship between regulators and industry sometimes. But that being said, we all understand, or hopefully we all understand, that we're all just trying to do our job, make a living, and can go on and do our jobs without having any major concerns when it comes to that type of aspect. So appreciate you guys letting me be able to get on my soapbox for just a moment there. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, and I'll probably continue to say that to the rest of these meetings that we have with the industry for a little while. So thank you for, again, listening to that. On to the legislative updates. There was one major bill, as it's for industrial hemp and cannabinoid products, that went through the legislative session. It was HB 52. It was just the industrial hemp amendments. Some things that it did that are going to be of interest to the retailers within the state is it changes some definitions, specifically as it refers to as serving size requirements for any of our cannabinoid products that are ingestible. So the gummies, the tablets, pills, things like that. What it does is change the definition to say that any product that can be registered within the state of Utah, again, for those ingestibles, has to have a serving size that is a whole number. So to just explain really quickly, there no longer can be a candy bar sized gummy that you cut into eighths or into quarters or into sixteenths or any fraction whatsoever. Everything has to be either one gummy or one tablet or two gummies, two tablets. So a whole number has to be that serving size. As we get into the meeting, Thane will discuss a little bit what the policy is, because there are some products that are out there that were registered at the time this bill went into effect, which was actually upon the governor's signature. And so it's been in effect for a little over 3 weeks now. We stopped doing any registration of those products that came in to us there, but we're going to have to close that out, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But to be honest, the other requirements still exist, such as 5 milligrams per serving size. So now it's just going to be 5 milligrams per whole number of serving size. And then also the 150 milligrams of THC per package is still set there, along with all those other requirements such as labeling and having the 10-to-1 CBD to THC ratio within those to be able to be registered. And yes, registration is still required for products within the state of Utah. There was a change to allowing some industrial hemp concentrate to come in to the state and leave the state, which is just stuff that is in process. It shouldn't affect, actually, it will not affect the retailers whatsoever in this aspect. That is a processor aspect where our tier 1 and tier 2 processors will have to do some more record keeping and have probably a little bit more regulation on top of them to be able to do this, to help them be able to bring in some different concentrates to make those products in the future. That's something that we just got done finishing writing our rule, and that should be going to the administrative rules group today, I believe. So the next thing that it does is that has an effect on retailers is starting in January of 2025, this will actually remove the registration fee for cannabinoid products. So again, on January 1st, 2025, the manufacturers or distributors of these products will no longer have to pay the $325 to get their product registered. But again, those products still do have to be registered. They're going to have to go through the exact same process that they do now, with the exception, again, of that $325 to register any product. In place of that, what will happen in January, again, 1st of 2025, is that there's actually going to be a tax that is levied on these cannabinoid products, which is something that obviously is going to affect each one of you moving forward. This bill allows the tax commission to work with the Department of Agriculture to share information, and the tax commission to actually collect that tax. I believe that it does take the place of the sales tax for local municipalities, but it actually also ends up sending a lot of that money back there. So the local municipalities are not going to be missing any tax money. They're going to get that. It's just now been removed and put in this, what we're calling the Cannabinoid Product Licensing, Cannabinoid Product Tax Act. So that tax is going to cover our department, and it's going to cover, obviously, some local municipalities as well as the tax commission, some things like that. Already, our department is starting to gather the information to be able to pass on to the tax commission. And again, that tax will go into effect on January 1st of next year. And then again, that registration fee would go away. So another thing that this does is it creates a grant program that tax will help to fund, that will encourage the production of industrial hemp products. And when we're talking about industrial hemp products, we're talking more about the fiber side of things than we are the cannabinoid product side of things. So if there's anybody in the industry who is doing hempcrete or any type of hemp fibers, things like that, there will be in the next couple of years a grant program through the Governor's Office of Economic Development to send to those industrial hemp producers for that type of thing. It also, something for you all to keep in mind, is it also allows law enforcement to work with us to conduct some underage buying investigations regarding the sale of these cannabinoid products that contain THC or THC analogs. Just a quick explanation. As you all probably know, that in 2023, part of the law went into effect that stated that you were supposed to verify if someone was 21 years of age or older in order for them to purchase any THC or THC analog products. This strengthens that a little bit, puts a little bit of teeth into that aspect, part of the statute, allowing law enforcement to work with us and doing some investigations and some and maybe some enforcement work, similar to what happens with both tobacco and alcohol. So overall, just to run through again, there are serving size requirements that Thane will go into a little bit in just a little bit. No registration fee after January 1st. That tax would go into effect on January 1st. And then again, the investigations that are possible with the THC or THC analog products. So with that, Casey, maybe I will say one last thing, that there is another bill that came through that may affect you if you're a smoke shop or type or sell vapes of sorts. Was SB 61, the electronic cigarette amendments. That did pass. We're looking into that as well to see exactly how that affects any of the products that we do. As we have more definite information, we'll pass that information along as well. but just something to keep on your radar that there was an SB 61 electronic cigarette amendments that passed as well. And Casey, with that, I'll send it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that, Cody. Appreciate your time, whatnot. We will now move over to Thane Dickey. He will go into some of our industrial hemp program items. So go ahead, Thane.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the meeting. I've been really looking forward to being able to get this kind of information out to everybody. So thank you for attending. Just a couple of things. We are going to be recording this meeting and then we'll post it on our YouTube channel. So everybody will be able to follow up and watch later who weren't able to attend. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about. I want to cover a few updates about some issues that we've been seeing in Ames to give people heads up. As well as I wanted to talk, like Cody said, a little bit about the serving size rules. So first I'm going to discuss the serving size rules. Now, the legislation changed the requirements, or it added a specific requirement for serving sizes. And the bottom line is the serving sizes needs to be integer, which is a whole number, right? It can't be a fourth of a gummy or a 0.25. It has to be a whole number. So 1 gummy, 2 gummies, they have to be distinct units. So the way this meshes with our current requirements is previously you could only have 5 milligrams of THC and THC analogs per serving. Well, now a serving size has to be 1 piece. You can't subdivide it further in one piece as a serving. So if your gummy size, if your serving size is 1 gummy, then that means 5 milligrams per gummy. Now we're referring specifically to serving sizes. This is like things, they're not oil-based suspensions. These are things that you're going to be consuming. So gummies, capsules, soft gels, tablets, those kinds of items. So there are 3 categories of products that we have to consider when the law changed. So the law went into effect the date the governor signed. That was March 12th. So on that day, it became statute that those products couldn't be registered moving forward. So we have 3 particular categories. The first category is those products that were already registered up to that point prior to governor's signature. So those products, we're going to allow those products to continue to be distributed and sold in the state in an effort for manufacturers and retailers to be able to sell out remaining stock up until July 1st of 2024. This is the end of the fiscal year. Most products generally, based on our old schedule, will have expired on that day as well. But if the product date expires after that, it doesn't matter. It has to be done by that date. If a retailer has some of those products out in their stores, they have to be able to prove through invoices that they received those prior to the July 1st date, indicating that they were distributed before that point. Regardless of when they were distributed, though, of course, like always, you can't sell an unregistered product. So keep that in mind. Now, the second category of products is products that were in process of being registered at the time of signature. Those products, unfortunately, because of the statute change and when it went into effect, we could not register them at that point, not meeting the statutory requirements that were laid out to us by the state legislature. So we allow those individuals who had products, if you were in that category, we would have notified the product registrants that they had 30 days to basically submit a compliant product that met serving size requirements and so on, and we had allowed them to register that version of the product with the new compliance. The last category of products was individuals who submit for registration, even if for renewal after the date of signature. Those products, because they are now expressly against the law, cannot be registered, and the registration will be denied under an unregisterable product, and we refund the money minus the non-refundable $75 product fee. So if your product serving size does not have is not in a whole number, just, I wouldn't submit it for registration at this point because they're not allowed to be like submitting something like flour that isn't allowed. We would just deny it outright and say, hey, thanks, but please try again. So if you have any questions about product registration and those details, you can reach out to us. The other thing things I wanted to mention is we're getting further and further along in our AIM system. Some of the things that I wanted to touch that we had, I'm going to share my screen and I want to cover just a couple of things real quick. Just one sec. So what I have here is I am logged into the customer portal that you guys see for your registration. So normally, if you were going to go to your home, you'd have these tabs. You'd have our organics, our medical cannabis, and our industrial hemp. Generally speaking, you guys are going to be clicking. So if you're retailers on this meeting, you're going to be going here to your retail applications, and this is going to be the spot where you're going to be renewing or filling out a new retail application if you don't have one for that location, or fulfilling a change request if there's something that needs to change. So you may find yourself that when you get to certain places in your application, you may find that the application gives you some errors, or not even some errors so much, like it'll say, this is the first spot right here. Some of these boxes, this information, see, these boxes are grayed out and you can't continue on with your application if there's information missing. But some of you, many of you, honestly have noticed that if any of this information is wrong, or if something is not in one of these boxes, it will not allow you to continue because it's a required field. Okay, the same exists for the information on this next page, which is your address, your account address here, your physical address and your mailing address. Okay, while I'm on this page, we also have down here is additional locations, right? So every account will have one main primary address, and each particular retail permit you have or physical license you have can be listed at a different place, and you would document those down here in the additional location for each application. So if you find yourself in a position where you cannot continue on with one of these applications because a spot is left blank and you can't click next, what that means is that your profile has to be updated. And you can find your profile information up here. You click on this picture and you click profile. So it may be the information where some information was left off your address, or the address was wrong, or your contact information here needs to be updated. All right. On our website, we have some good information about how to update your contacts and your profiles. And you can review those videos and let us know if you have any questions. But that is often the first issue that somebody runs into, is some of that information is blank. If you update your profile and your contacts, oftentimes it allows you to continue on because that information gets filled out. It's just not super intuitive where you need to go to fill out that information. Okay. So if you guys have any questions more for us, please reach out to us, and we will do our best to help you. And thanks everybody for being patient. If you have applied, well, I guess I'll leave it to Kevin to update on retail permits. I think it's all I got, Casey.
Awesome. Thank you, Thane. Appreciate you going into that. I will now take a little bit of time on my end and talk to you guys about as inspectors and what we're seeing out and about, and just to make sure that everything is clear with you when any regulatory action is done, and that we can all be on the same page when you're seeing an inspector out in the field. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay, can you see my screen thing?
Yes.
Okay. So as an inspector is out and about, the number one thing that they come or run into.
Casey, I see in your presentation mode. I had your thing before, but now I see all your notes on the one side and stuff. You good?
Good. Okay. Anyways, the number one thing that we run into as inspectors are people that are not licensed to sell our cannabinoid product, and they do not have a license to do it. So as you're out and about, if you see somebody that doesn't have that license, don't be afraid to let us know that we can reach out and find these facilities. There's a lot of facilities in Utah that are selling cannabinoid products, and we want to be able to get out there and make sure everyone is licensed and playing by the rules, everything along those lines. The next problem that we run into is product registration. So according to statute and rule, each industrial hemp product distributed or available for distribution in Utah shall be officially registered annually with the department. So as of right now, there is a registration fee along with tests that need to be done, along with a registration form to be filled out. That fee is going to be waived at the first of the year, but as of right now, it's still ongoing. So when an inspector's out and about, he's going to make sure that your products are registered. And the reason that we're checking for registered product is to make sure that that product is safe for consumers. You know, we take periodic samples of registered product, and you know, we're relying on COAs to make sure that what the consumer is buying is what they're actually getting. And consumer safety is our #1 goal. So with your retail shops, make sure that all your product is registered. If it is not registered, that's when you need to either send that product back to the manufacturer or try to get that product registered as soon as possible. When an inspector comes in, he finds unregistered product, what they're going to issue you is a hold order. And what that hold order does is places that product that is not registered with a hold, and it prohibits you from selling, offering for sale, or moving from its present location. I do know that there have been retailers that inspectors have gone in and put a hold on their items, and next thing you know, this product has been moved from that location, and that is violating that hold, and it can lead to increased fines and everything along those lines. So when you do get a hold placed on your items, please keep those in your store, keep them in the bag so people are not able to see these until we can figure out a way to move forward with the product. The #1 thing that we want to see done with product that is placed on hold is to be registered, because then that will prevent anyone from having to destroy or send product back. But that's our #1 goal, is to get that product registered. If you're unable to get that product registered, we do give you 30 days to get that product sent back to the manufacturer. And when you go to send that product back, you need to make sure that the inspector has been notified, and at most times will be there to see a packing slip and see that you guys are mailing that back to the person that you have received that product from. If worse comes to worst and you're unable to send that product back, there may lead to the lines of destruction, but that is the last step that we like to go to. But at times it is needed to happen. If you are found with having issues within your retail store, you will be served a notice of noncompliance. Just so you're aware, this is not a citation. This is just saying to you that as the inspector is out and about, they saw this noncompliance issue. They are bringing you aware of this issue, and that is brought back to our administrative team to decide how to move forward with what's going on with that noncompliance issue. So like I say, just the steps found when we are finding the non-compliant material. #1, we want to register that product. You have 30 days to decide what to do with it. You're welcome to send that product back with notifying the inspector. And then we need proof that it actually is being sent back to that manufacturer. And after 30 days, if nothing has been done, then legally we have the right to go in and destroy that product that is not registered. if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Here's my number and my email. And we want to make sure that you guys are in compliance, that you are selling legal products, that the consumers out there are safe. And that's all I have on my presentation. So now I will turn the time over to Devin West. Devin is part of our product registration team, and she has a little bit of a slideshow to go through with you guys.
Hi everyone. Brandy is out today, so you get me, but she is the better public speaker than I am. So, let's see. Make sure I choose this one. Okay. We're gonna watch her little presentation again.
Okay. All right, so this is from the product registration team on product forms. So everything that, as you know, goes into the market in the state of Utah has to be registered with UDAF. Part of that registration process is that we look at the product form that's being registered and determine if it can be registered within those guidelines in the state of Utah. So an industrial hemp product, and this is taken from the 2024 bill, means a product made by processing industrial hemp plants or parts. And when we do the registration process, I thought this was important to say, we review everything based on the final product. So everything that is ready for the consumer, from the label to the product to the way the product looks, if it's a gummy, for instance, or a bath bomb, something like that, we review the final product. So an industrial hemp product in the state of Utah and is a product derived from hemp, and it's sold for its cannabinoid content, so advertised, so a CBD gummy, right? And these products can include those intended for human or animal consumption or a topical application. In the state of Utah, and this might be different in other states, this is called a cannabinoid product. So I do just want to have a caveat. The things covered here today do not cover extensively all of the product forms that we look at that are allowed, not allowed. There's a lot of subcategories. So these are just kind of the main ones that we run across on a daily basis. So like I said, part of that process that we do is that every single submission that comes to us, we consider what the product form is. And that's really important when you're doing your AIMS submissions, is to make sure that you mark what it is. And then we evaluate the name, we look at the testing, and then we can also require a picture of the final product form, and there is a slot in AIMS to upload, and that's very important. If we don't have them on the gummies, we will often ask for a picture of that just to verify that they fall within those guidelines that Cody had mentioned earlier. So like I said, this is not a comprehensive list, but these are the main ones that we see. So a topical, which is applied externally to the skin. This can include things like lotions, lip balms, hair care products. And then we also have orally consumed products. So those are the ones intended for use of consumption through ingestion or sublingual, oral, or inhalation. This can include tinctures, gummies, capsules, tablets, vape, shatter. So anything that's orally ingested, and that's just a little subcategory of those. And then pet products. And pet products are the ones that are meant directly for pets. So this is pet treats, and then there's also topical ones. Note the little gentleman there. Okay, and then some of the product types that are not allowed in the state of Utah that we see the most is a conventional food or beverage. So that's those that are intended for use as a food or beverage. And this also applies to animal products. So I'll go into that in a little bit, but animal products cannot be meant for food for them. Also smokable flower, it's a violation to distribute or market industrial hemp flower as a final product, and then appealing to children. So if you market, if your product name is similar to something that a child would buy, anything that's considered appealing to children, and then the form of it. So going into conventional fruit or beverage. So one of the first things that we look at is that we will not register it if it's used as a food additive. And these are the regulations. You can find these. So I put these in here, and then we'll have this as a PDF when we send out a summary email towards, probably towards the end of the week. So anything that appears to imitate or be marketed as a food or a drink product, and this is specifically, I put the gummy, sometimes you see the rainbow ropes or you see gummy worms, things like that. Yeah, the peach rings. So they need to be, like Cody had referenced, a basic shape. They can be a dome, they can be a square, it has to be a basic geometric shape. And then the liquid suspension under 2 ounces. And then a pet product. So the pet product is intended for oral consumption, like I said. So it cannot be labeled as food. I'm just going to keep saying that. And then smokable flower. So a cannabinoid product that consists of the flower, bud, leaves, or stem of the hemp plant include trimmings. This includes pre-rolls, cigarettes, cigars, wraps, rolling papers. That's not a comprehensive list. So anything where it's just the flower, if you just put a flower in a tea bag, right? You can't do that. So anything that is just the flower, you cannot have. So for anything considered appealing to children. So it is a violation to distribute, market, or manufacture a cannabinoid product that is marketed to or appealing to children. So this is one that we look at very carefully. Sometimes it can be a fine line, right, on whether something is appealing to children. So we'll often collaborate. We'll take a look at it, see if it mimics anything that's out on the market currently. So some of the guidelines that we go by is that a hemp product cannot have mascots, cartoon or fictional characters. So if it's got your own little dude on there that's marketing it, that would be considered appealing to children. So it can appear to imitate a food or other products. So for instance, gummy bears. It can't, something that my son would look at and go, oh, that looks good, right? You can't have the shaped animals, characters, and then any kind of packaging. If you've got big rainbows and a unicorn going across your gummies, that's going to draw my attention and make me look twice at what the product's aimed towards. So this is our contact information. Like I said, that will be on the PDF that we send out. You can always reach us through those 2 phone numbers, me and Devin, and then the email address we both have access to. It's monitored daily. If you have a question about a product, that's the amazing thing about this industry is everybody is so innovative in it, and they're always collaborating. And call us. If you have a question before you register something, just run it past us and see if that would fall within those guidelines. So you can always get a hold of us. So please feel free to contact us, and it's our pleasure to be able to help everybody. So thanks so much.
Okay, like Brandy said, if anyone ever has any questions about any products, whether they're registered or not, and you're having a hard time navigating the list, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always more than happy to help. Like she mentioned, all of this will be available on that follow-up email as well as our contact information, but that's what I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Devin, and thank you, Brandy, even though you're not here. So that was great. We will now move over to our licensing division with Kevin Villar. He has a little spill on what's going on with licensing.
Hi, everyone. I wish I had a recording of Brandy as well explaining this, but unfortunately, I have to do it today. So I think that in these meetings, I just want to address common questions that I've been getting regarding licensing and the application process. So I wanted to touch upon locations and certificate questions. So I'm just going to, if you can see my screen, go over the process of applying for a new retail license. So we're going to go through all the steps. I'm sure you have all seen this. Just continue. So I'm going to apply as new. Like Thane went over previously, I'm going to select a contact. So the information populates for me already. That's saved in my profile. So this is the permanent contact information. If there's anything missing, something's wrong with the account information, which you want to modify in the profile settings. Okay, so this is one of the sections where people have a lot of questions, and it is confusing. It's not very intuitive in my opinion, but this grayed out section is the account information. So this is what we have on your profile settings for the company. So on my account is under UDAF Hemp Licensing. The physical address and mailing address are both for the company. So in this case, they are the same. And they are grayed out because I can't edit it in the application level. It has to be in profile settings. And if anything was wrong here, I would go through here. Thane put in a link to how to change that as a guide to do that. And then it's going to send me a request that you're wanting to change any information here. I would approve it, and then you will receive an email letting you know that anything from here has been changed and it is now applied to your account. But if I'm applying for specific stores, let's say I have 2 or 3 stores under my company, UDAF Hemp Licensing, this is where you're actually going to add the store location. And this only pertains to the physical store, so we don't have a section where you're going to put in a mailing address for your store. The mailing will automatically just grab it from the company mailing address. And in this section, you're going to add whatever you want, the company name, but on the certificate itself, this address field will show for the store. So I'm going to name this test 1, fictitious address. And this is important because this will show on the certificate itself. So you can just have the address if you want, but it might help you if you put in the store number next to the address. And then additional description. This is mostly for yourself to keep track of what store it is or location. Put in a company name. Okay. So this is the actual store number, and this is the company information. I would just continue, select the payment option, submit, and let's say that it's approved and you receive that approval email from me. You're going to go to my dashboard, my licenses, and here's one that has been approved under my account. And then you click on certificate download link. Okay, so this is an issued license, and it's different from last year. Obviously, it's a whole new system. It's a different certificate. So in these sections up here on the left, in the middle, even in the location address, it's just going to show the company address. And then my store name will be listed under the DBAs, which I could add under my profile settings in the account. So one of my stores are test 1, test 2, and then another test 2. And that's a lot of people have been having questions because previously you would just have, the name of the store, the address, and mailing address. So you have multiple options if you are not happy with how this looks. I know everybody has, they want it to look a certain way for their store. So I could have test 1 right next to this location address. That's an indicator that this is a specific store. It has a different name than my company name. But it will still show UDAF Hemp Licensing next to it, test 1. So that is one option to add the additional location there. The store number with the address. If you're having troubles doing that or you want to change it, you can always contact me at Hemp Licensing, and I can also add it for you. Another option is if you don't want UDAF Hemp Licensing, the company name, to be anywhere with your store number to avoid confusion, you could also just have a separate Ames account, you created with a different email, and it just has test one, and it just has that store number and mailing address. And the third option is if you just want to have the account, but you still just wanted to show test one under the license certificate, just contact me and I can make some edits individually per certificate. This is a temporary fix. I know that for the next version of this licensing system that we are using, we are working on making this more to give you more options to customize it. So you can just select a DBA, and then within the same account, the hemp licensing account, your certificate will just show your store information. But for now, you have those options. Again, you can have the the store number next to the location address. You can just have a whole separate account for that store, or you can just email me and I can work on making a customized certificate for you. I know everyone has a reason why they want to just have it a certain way. But yes, if you have any questions on locations, and also just keep in mind that this was just one application for one store. So if you have 3 or 4 stores, you're going to need to do separate applications for each, and then you will create an additional location for each store separately. But that's all I got.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. Hopefully that helps you guys a little bit better on getting an application filled out when getting a retail license and steps going forward with that. So that about wraps it up for our meeting today. Just so you guys are aware, we do have a processing meeting on the first Tuesday of May. That will be May 7th at 1 o'clock. And then the retailer licensee meeting will be in June on the 4th at 1 o'clock. So if you do have any questions, feel free to send those to hemp_UDAF@utah.gov, and we will try to get to them our next meeting and make sure everything is covered that you guys have questions on. But unless anybody from the UDAF staff has anything else to bring up, I think we are good to go. Do you have anything, Thane?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. We will be following up with an email for everyone with the link to the video and so on. I do have guides on our website with the information to walk you through all of the applications. We'll once again include those in the emails, and then we'll get to those questions as we can. So just watch out for the link in the email to respond with feedback, and we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you joining.
Awesome. Thanks, Thane. Be looking for this email with the link to this video here in just a day or two. And I appreciate you guys jumping on, taking the time to meet with us, and we will talk to you in a couple of months, if not sooner. Thank you.